This time we're going to go ahead and get started with this special City Commission meeting for Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. If I can please have the City Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Caldwell.
He's here.
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez.
Present.
Commissioner Harriet.
Present.
Commissioner McCool.
Here.
Commissioner Shimkus.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee. Here. Mayor Villa.
Here. If we can please stand for the pledge, and I'll ask Vice Mayor Strozzi to lead us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If we can, somebody please send a message to the city manager and Commissioner Colwell. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, Joyce. Out of courtesy, I just want to give him a few minutes.
Hey, is this meeting being
Yes.
recorded and posted?
Yeah.
I just got a text that it might not be.
We're live now
Okay, thank you.
on YouTube, Facebook, and the cable channel.
Perfect. All right, Commissioner Colwell's here, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to Section 4A, City Commission Discussion and Approval of City Attorney Contract with TG Law. And I have Commissioner Harriet on the board.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve this item with option A.
Questions?
There's a motion by Commissioner Harriet and a second by Vice Mayor Jody Lee. We also have Commissioner Villa-Vasquez that has some questions, and Commissioner Shimkus.
Thank you, Mayor. So part of the firm hereby agrees to serve as city attorney for the city and to provide legal representation on all matters. The responsibilities and duties of the firm include, but are not limited to, I would like to include participate in directors' meetings and participate in union meetings with the fire department. I would like those two included if it's possible.
I agree with you.
I don't like the idea of asking them to put that in the contract to make them participate in those meetings, but I think that there's under item K that's absolutely doable already.
I want it put directly
As directed.
specified, as noted.
Mayor,
Because you're giving them an option to be invited or not.
Mayor, for the directive, you're talking about the cabinet meeting for directors?
I'm sorry?
You're talking about directors for the city department heads?
Yes.
I would respectfully request that that's an option. I would have no issue with that in general, but
Not a
the people in that room work directly for the city manager's office. City attorney does not, so I would have no issue in general, but to put it in there and say they must be at the directors meeting and they have no say over directors, that would just be a little bit of a goocher, I think.
Well, I have experienced a lot of issues coming up during those meetings, and the legal department is not aware of it, nor are these issues being brought up to the legal department till after it's too late, and we are being sued.
I think we can direct that as under item K already.
Specifically, as I said, not option.
Okay.
Joyce, is that
Can you repeat both things, please?
participate in union, fire department union meetings, negotiations, and participate in all city directors, head of department meetings.
Got it.
Motion would be amicable to adding union negotiations, not director meetings.
I'm not changing my motion.
Well, I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if he's not willing to amend his motion, you would just vote on this motion, and then you could make another motion if this one fails. You
Okay.
can add those.
I'm fine to add the union negotiations.
It was
Jody.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee seconded it.
So you okay with that?
What?
No, I'll withdraw my second. I agree with Commissioner Maritza.
Make sure your mic is on. All right, we're gonna,
Can't vote, there's no second.
no, we can't vote anyways until I get public comment. We're gonna go to Commissioner Shimkus.
I have a couple questions or concerns about other aspects, so I don't know if we want to put this to bed first, or how do you want to move forward?
We could, yeah.
I would like to see that we more specifically indicate the review process here. I would like to say that we include a review at 6 months of the entire contract, and that must include a list of categorized billing, so that over the last 6 months, we will understand what categories the attorney is spending the most time on. I understand there were some concerns about, why we need an attorney for this much money for specific things. They had asked about, ordinances or whatever, 3 or 4 specific things, but the city's attorney office covers so much more than just an ordinance or a document here and there. So I'd like to see in 6 months, there's a full review of the contract with that categorization of how many hours were spent on whatever it is they spent time on, whether that's training, whether that's public records request, whether that's, contract review, general questions from staff, whatever is being covered entirely, so.
Joyce, is that something that can be added to their
It
evaluation?
can. One of the reasons why we didn't do that is because literally 3 months after that 6 months, you're going to have an annual review per your policies. So we figured 3 months,
And
but again, it's up to you guys.
well, and I was getting to that point as well, because historically, our annual reviews, in all due respect, have been an absolute joke. So I would like to additionally specify that if we can, in 6 months, I think considering the fact that we've got new city manager, new city attorney, a lot of changes, we're going to have potentially how many new people up here in 4 days? I think a 6-month review of this contract is more pertinent than waiting another year. And I think in addition to the 6-month contract, that we specify as part of the year contract, or sorry, as part of the year review, specifically around the guaranteed 3%, I'd like to ask if we can make that a range of 1% to 3% of an increase. And where it says simply based on review, that's where I'd like that yearly review to be specified. And I don't know, that's a complicated thing to hash out in just this meeting. I would love to see, at some point we come back with, here is a rubric of how we are scoring a review of our city attorney's office, not just based on reviews as a generic open. So again, I know that's a lot to kind of try to hash out in a special meeting, which is why I think if we specify that on the 6-month review, at that time, we have the opportunity to specify what the yearly review would look like after that, which if it's 3 months after that, that's fine. But then going forward, that yearly review could be buttoned up more, if that makes any sense.
Do you have any proposed language for that?
No, like I said, discussion today was going to hopefully kind of flesh out whether or not, number one, are we amenable to setting a 6-month review with a categorized billing statement so that we understand where things are being set. So I think that for me was number one. Can we just 6-month review with categorization?
Yep.
And then specify in that 6-month review, this commission at that time can specify the requirements for whatever the review would be on the yearly basis.
Yeah.
Doesn't that change our options, though?
No,
we got option A and B. None of this is included in either option.
Well, the review is included in both options. Yeah. And so
But
I'm just asking that we
additional-
clarify the review.
He's asking for
And adding additional, we're adding one review, and then clarifying that the already present 3% annually based on evaluations review, that review, to be better written. But again, I don't know.
I guess it's called adding definition to adding clear definitions
Yeah.
to the review process. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. If I may, so as you all know, I've spent the bulk of my career in city government, and a lot of that as a city attorney, town attorney, municipal attorney. And part of the reason we put in our contract that there's a 20-day, you can cancel, you don't need to give us a reason, no hard feelings, you just say, we're going to cancel this contract in 20 days, is because, I mean, candidly, we know this work, we know the work that you do, and if we're doing our job, you're going to talk to us a ton, you're going to have all the information, no one's going to be in the dark, we're going to be protecting and defending the city, which is what we do, and you will know and feel that every single day. You'll know and feel that at every single meeting. We are happy to be reviewed. We want to be a part of your process, however you want to do it. But I'm just being honest with you. If you're not happy as a body, you'll know whether you have a review or not. And, you know, in the world of attorneys, candidly, city attorneys, you know, we live by the sword, we die by the sword. This is our job. This is what we do. And you can do a 6-month review, you can do a year review, whatever you're going to do. We're going to do our jobs. We're going to do our jobs well. We're going to serve the city. We're going to protect the city, defend the city. That's our job, and to protect the commission and the residents. So we're happy to accommodate you. You don't. I'm going to be honest with you. You don't have to put it in the contract. You can just, again, in K, you can literally direct us to attend meetings. You can do all these things, which again, I would consider this meeting you directing us to attend these meetings, and we will attend those meetings. We will do what you direct us to do. We are a charter officer for you. We serve you. We serve the city. So we will do whatever you want. And in 6 months, if you say we need a review and we need another review in 3 months, we're whatever you want to do. But we're here to serve, and we are not an obstructionist firm. And again, if you're not happy, we're going to know you're not happy. And you know, we'll move on, and you guys will find another fit. I believe we are the fit. I believe that there has been a lot of turmoil and change and challenge, and that's hard. And one of our missions, candidly, is to come in and help build a culture of accountability, of trust, of transparency, where employees can feel comfortable coming to us. And candidly, this is truly the thing that is the most important to me. I want them to come to me when they have a hangnail. If they have a question and they don't know, does this qualify? Is this a question? Is this worded right? Is this term in this proposed contract or this PO correct? I want them to not hesitate and come, because it is our job to protect, but the only way we can do that is if the staff comes to us, really. I mean, and you all too, but I feel confident you will. And so that's our mission, that's our goal. We're coming into this with a very clear perspective, which is we need to educate, we need to keep people apprised, we need to be transparent, and we need to build those relationships and trust so that everyone knows we are part of this team. And we're all a family, we're all a team and family, and we are working to move the city of Deltona forward. And so you will see and feel that, and candidly, if you don't see and feel that, okay. And that's why we put it in there. I mean, we don't say you need to give us 90 days or there's a penalty. I don't believe in that. If you're not happy, you're not happy. So, I mean, that's just sort of my general philosophy. I will tell you that our government clients are very happy. I spend a lot of time with them. I mean, we spend a lot of time with them. We get calls all the time, and that's what we do. That's what we are public servants at heart. That's why, candidly, our firm is made up of people who started in administration. We started as assistant city managers, town managers, city managers, CRA directors, and then we chose to do this. We said, you know what, let's go to law school, and let's keep doing this, and let's get deeper, and let's work harder, and let's do better for the communities of Florida. So that's our ethos, that's our pathos. We're happy to do reviews, but candidly, you can just at a regular meeting say, hey, guess what, attorneys, you're going to have a review at the next meeting or a review in 30 days. And we will be open to it and happy to do it. So we're happy to do what you direct us to do. We put the latitude in the contract for you to direct us to attend meetings, to direct us to attend negotiations. Certainly that's our expectation and our plan. And you can direct us to do reviews as often as you'd like, but the reality is you're going to be reviewing us every day, and you're going to be reviewing us every meeting. So we know that, and we expect that, and we welcome that.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Let me take it let's go a different direction. Number one, would you be okay amending the contract to specify the increase as a 1% to 3% range based on evaluations?
Sure, but the contract is already written in such a way that the valuation, the increase is based on the evaluation. So I guess I would say my assumption would be at the evaluation process, you guys will either say no increase, 0.5%, 1%, 2%, 3%. So that is how the contract, in my mind, is already written and interpreted. I'm happy to put a range if that would make you feel better. No problem.
Okay, then I think if we could just add the words up to 3%.
No problem.
That would understand that we're not just guaranteeing every year a standard increase. I think that's where some concern was. So if we can do that, then on the review process, let me kind of take it a different direction then. I would like to still add a 6-month review. And again, this is, for me, a lot less about whether or not the commission likes you, because 100%, they can fire you tomorrow. It's that no one disputes, that process. Given the history of the city and the complications of our dealings with our public, this is more about providing a mechanism for some level of transparency to the public that they can expect. And that's where my idea of the 6-month categorized review comes from, because, I think, and we had spoken, I think, candidly about education as being a part of the process and training. And I think it's important that this commission take a step toward educating the people as to what in the heck it is you all do. Because again, I think there's a misconception that you handle these 3 maybe basic things, and there's so much more to that. And I think it'll help all of us, the commission included, to understand after 6 months, we spent X% of our hours on public records, we spent X% of our hours on whatever else is out there. And so that's where that 6-month thing comes from. It's more about being able to present a transparent, this is what the office is doing, this is what we're paying for. That's where that is. So if we can then add just at 6 months a review based on, and I just want to specify categorized billing, because we're not looking for the itemized thing. There's a lot of reasons why that can be tricky. I just want the over categorized view of what we're spending our time on, because that's going to help us as a city say, if we're spending 80% of our time on public records requests, we have got to do something there, right? We understand that's a problem, so we can then focus, how do we reduce that? And by doing that regularly, we can start to say, well, we're going to reduce the costs over all of our legal needs by identifying the problem areas. So that's the intent of the 6-month review with categories.
I hear that, and again, you don't need to put it in the contract. You can specify the review at your next meeting, or any meeting you want, and just say, here's the rubric for your review. I mean, it's your process for evaluation. We're fine to do it at 6 months, and we're fine to, break it down in categories. I will tell you a thing about public records requests. Deltona is a city with an engaged populace, which is a thing, candidly, that we love. We believe in democracy. We believe that local government is where truly the rubber meets the road and makes the lives of citizens better. And an engaged populace wants to be informed. And candidly, there's not a ton. I mean, if the people want to know, the people want to know. Certainly, we need to be transparent at meetings, and we need to be open with them. But if they want records, they are going to want records. So we're happy to say, this month was 80 hours on records and 45 hours on meetings. But the reality is, part of the reason. Okay,
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Troy, would you be okay if we left that specific piece out of the contract and included that direction at the same time?
Yeah, I guess I can be okay with that not being in the contract.
Yeah. So that we give the direction that at the 6-month review, we get a categorized, a little bit more detailed report.
And I would, okay, I'd be fine with that.
Up to the 3% change.
And then I would say I would challenge this commission, since I will no longer be on the commission in 3 days, that a workshop be held to formulate the rubric by which you will be evaluating both the city manager and a city attorney. And I will be happy to help with that, as my history is in developing rubrics for many school systems. So I will be happy to help with that if I can. So just kind of a challenge out to the general, make that workshop happen. And then Commissioner Vasquez, I understand what you're saying in requiring them. I think letter K in the contract gives you that power. And I would suggest that you perhaps at every meeting or every other meeting, you specify a motion to require the attorneys attend the director meetings for the next however many you want, to start building that trust. Because I understand what you're saying is we have all gotten a number of reports that stuff is not correct. And I understand you want eyes in the room from a third party to kind of evaluate. But to Doc's point, I think requiring it blanketly in the contract is perhaps a step too far. So with letter K, if this commission says at the beginning of every month, we would like the attorneys to attend the meetings for the next 3 weeks or a month or whatever the time period you determine is good, until we begin to see things start to work better. I think that would be a better mechanism.
I don't agree. There's a lot of things that we here up at the dais have requested that hasn't been accomplished, that falls between the crack. I believe that putting it in the contract, it guarantees that legal will be represented in all the meetings so that we are protected from anything that comes up that needs legal to be involved. So I will keep my motion as is.
Okay, well, since there is not a motion, I will make the motion that we accept.
There's a current motion. It doesn't have a second,
It
but,
doesn't have a second, so I thought it died. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Did it not die?
No, it has a second.
It did not. It
No,
was withdrawn.
Vice Mayor Jody Lee withdrew his second.
Okay.
This time I can make a second.
So Commissioner Colwell is making a second at this time for Commissioner Harriet's motion.
Which one are you?
Okay, let's start all
hold on,
over
guys.
again, because this is very
One
confusing here.
moment. Let's finish this motion off first before we go to the rest of the people on the list. Is there a second for Commissioner Harriet's motion? There's a second by Commissioner Colwell,
Just option B.
which is option B, including,
A.
no, option A,
With the changes for up to 3%.
Correct.
And the direction.
Union.
The direction to be involved with the union contract.
Correct.
and the 6-month review
And a
that,
6-month review with the categorized.
correct.
But not to attend staff
The
meeting?
only thing that's been left out is the be at director meetings. That's the only thing that's been left out.
That can be directed?
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner Harriet, repeat your
My
motion.
motion is to approve the contract, option A, with the change to add increased by up to 3%, and provide direction to participate in the union negotiations, and that at the 6-month review, a categorized report will be provided to the commission.
My second
I don't even understand what this motion is. It's very confusing.
He's just adding the option A with everything, essentially the other, including yourself, minus the director meeting. That's what his motion is right now. Okay, there's a second by Commissioner Colwell. Is there any public comment before we vote, and then I'll go to the rest of the commission? Yeah. All right. Just so we can get rid of one motion in case it doesn't pass, and then we can go to the next.
Tara DeRico.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My comments may be moot now because it sounds like we may be leaning towards option A. So first, let me start by thanking Commissioner Harriet, the mayor, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner McCool for joining us at the Rotary fundraiser last night. We appreciated seeing you all there. A couple things just want to, in case we do talk about other options, is quick math is with going to option A, we would be paying this attorney firm roughly $900 more than what we've been historically paying our previous city attorney. So just keep that in mind, because when we talk about numbers, it's not a huge difference, yet we're getting, in my opinion, an incredible amount of more services that need to fit our city. So I think we definitely need to go with option A. There's no limits to when we can use the attorney, right? It sounds like I've talked to both of them before, and just hearing them now, it sounds like that they are very passionate about really being partners with the city and with the residents. My concerns with option B, then I'll focus on, just in case someone's thinking of this, is that opens us up to not having a consistent process, right? So when do you decide what's appropriate to send to the city attorney and what's not, because we're too worried about keeping those hours. Things don't go to the city attorney, guess what? There's no one to hold accountable. Worse off, there's no one to cover that liability. So if it goes to the city attorney, and hopefully it doesn't come to this, but they have insurance for legal liability, right? If a mistake is made, their insurance firm is held responsible, not us, not the city. Commissioner Shimkus, thank you for putting the up to 3%, because one of the things that I was going to suggest was perhaps a 1 to 3% sliding scale based on clearly defined performance metrics. So I appreciate you calling that out. All right, thank you. 2 seconds left. Bye.
Kathy Bryan.
Good Saturday morning, everybody. Kathy Bryan, Deltona. Just a couple things. One is the I didn't see anything about it, and I know it's in the charter, but to make sure that the firm has a brick and mortar address within the recommended range of time, even if that's an office here, mind you, as long as the exemption is done properly and they're not using it to vote from, like we've had in the past. I want to make sure that evaluations are done by the commission only. By all means, I think you guys could talk to other members of staff. Well, however it is you could get feedback from other folks, the appropriate folks to put in the evaluations. And I'm not going to disagree with Maritza so far as having them there. I guess at some point you could look at an evaluation if you're going to go with making it kind of the optional thing and anticipate them being there, that somewhere down the line if you're redoing the contract, because I think the contract should be redone every so often, probably yearly. And if it's becoming an issue, then you can add that terminology. So, but otherwise, I'm very excited and happy to have him here. Thank you.
Tom Blodgett. Right?
How you doing, Tom?
Yes, Tom is my evil twin brother.
There you go.
Just to put things in perspective, I think we're a little bit too sensitive about the outgoing attorney. I like these guys. I think they're great. No offense. You guys are hashing stuff out. Moritz is right. Having it in writing, they seem amenable to do everything as you wish. It's too bad that these days you do have to put things into writing, so put it in writing. And it'd also be nice if the 7 of you didn't jump up and, beat the hell out of the city manager. He does have a valid point, and it'd be nice if you all got along. That's it.
No problem.
All right, let's go ahead and vote, and then we'll move forward.
Nope.
I think it's still trying to catch up to all your typing. Motion passes 6-1. So, is there any comments from the city manager?
None this morning, Mayor, thank you.
All right, meeting's adjourned. I understand, but we were waiting.
You can't do that.